How do you become a god? For some, it's about flexing godly power and smiting your enemies until they turn into crispy critters. But for Odin, it was all about knowledge. So today, let's spin the wheel of fate and learn how one god became the Allfather. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Norseman. As we get started, please remember to hit that like button. And if you really want to see us succeed, then consider becoming a member. Your support helps me to keep bringing these videos to life. Thank you. We've talked before about how Norse mythology was very different from Greek mythology in that it didn't have a bunch of half-god, half-mortal heroes running around. It did have legendary heroes who were fully mortal, but they were generally considered to be the descendants of gods and possessed abilities that set them apart from normal people. We've also mentioned, though, that while the Greeks had plenty of heroes, their myths also contained powerful monsters and creatures known as personifications. Personifications were beings made up of primal forces of nature or abstract concepts given human characteristics. Odin, too, had his own personifications, which played a key role in his rise to godhood. The first of these was Mimir. Mimir was an embodiment of wisdom and magic and a guardian of the Well of Wisdom. And it was there by the side of this well that Odin came across him. Odin, of course being the tricksy god that he was, decided to trade a secret with Mimir for a drink from the well. However, when Odin leaned in for a sip, Mimir warned him, "Beware, Allfather, for this water will not taste sweet on your tongue. Once drunk, your secrets shall be told." Odin drank anyway, and so Mimir warned him, and he began to cry tears of joy, revealing secrets he had never known. With Mimir's help, Odin was granted great powers, and in return, Mimir asked for only one boon. He wanted a son with Frigg, Odin's wife. Together, they conceived the god of wisdom and poetry, Gosir. Now, in other versions of the Eddas, Odin finds the cauldron of the poet instead of drinking from the well of wisdom. Either way, he trades a secret for something that grants him immense power. In this case, it has the ability to make mead that bestows poetic inspiration and magical power upon those who drink it. When Odin learns the art of brewing, he makes a second batch of mead called Odrisvambit, which is meant only for the gods, and he hides it away in the giantess home of Jotunheim. This mead is guarded by the three Norns, the spinners of fate who control the threads of destiny. Each morning, the Norns would meet at Odin's sacred tree, Yggdrasil, where they spun their threads and predicted the future of mortals. But they used this power very sparingly because they knew that even small changes could have huge ramifications. However, Odin managed to trick them into giving him some of their power by disguising himself as a fly and crawling around their cauldron of fate. As they swatted at him, some of their power landed on his beard, and thus Odin became skilled in foresight. Not satisfied with just getting a little bit of their power, Odin decided to take more drastic measures. Disguised as a snake, he slithered under the door of the hall where the Norns brewed their magic and drank from their cauldron. When they noticed, they tried to kill him, but Odin was already immortal, so he couldn't be slain. Instead, they bound him up with Galger, or magic spells, and made him suffer until he revealed the secret of his identity. With this knowledge, Odin went on to gain more power and influence over the other gods. And so, thanks to Mimir and the Norns, Odin's mastery of memory and fate was complete. So what exactly are we talking about here? What does memory have to do with any of this? Well, back in episode 37, we talked about the goddess Freya and her association with the Vanir, the fertility gods of the north. Odin was a god of wisdom, death, poetry, magic, divination, and war. And his role in the Norse pantheon was entirely different from that of the Vanir. The Vanir were associated with nature and fertility, and often worked through persuasion and trickery. Odin, on the other hand, represented the intellectual side of the Norse religion, and he favored knowledge and reason. Odin was also associated with death, but this wasn't quite the same as the Greek god Hades, who ruled over the underworld. Odin's association with death seems to have been more about the mysteries of death and the afterlife than actual control over it. He was a seeker of wisdom and knowledge, and was willing to do whatever it took to acquire it, even sacrificing his eye and hanging himself from Yggdrasil for 9 nights. To gain wisdom, Odin didn't gain his power through brute force or trickery. He earned it through self-sacrifice, study, and perseverance. It was said that he owned 8 great treasures, including the spear Gungnir, which never missed its mark, the ring of Yggdrasil, which gave its wearer powers over the minds of men, and the ship Skibladnir, which could fold up into a pocket-sized boat and unfurl into a massive vessel capable of carrying whole armies across the sea. His most important treasure, though, was knowledge. Through his sacrifices and explorations, Odin learned about the origins of the universe and the prophecy of Ragnarok, the doom of the gods. He gained the ability to shapeshift into various animals, such as the snake and the fly that we discussed earlier. And he became master of runes, the ancient Germanic alphabet that held magical powers. Runes were more than just letters of the alphabet. They were symbols of cosmic energies that could be used to cast spells and protect against evil. By understanding the true names of things, Odin was able to wield tremendous power over the physical world. The true name of an object is its essence, the very thing that makes it what it is. This is similar to the concept of the holy name in Christianity, which is believed to have healing and protective powers. The use of runes and true names in Norse paganism reflects a belief in the interconnectedness of all things and the power of language to shape reality. It also shows a respect for the wisdom and knowledge of the past, as runes were often carved on stones and other objects to preserve ancient knowledge and traditions. Odin also used his knowledge to help others, such as the hero Sigurd, whom he trained in combat and gave the power of the Volsung sword. Grammar, Odin was a teacher as well as a warrior, and he valued intelligence and courage above all else. In some stories, Odin is actually considered to be the wisest of the gods, and his wisdom is not just theoretical, but practical and applicable to everyday life. He was a god of poetry, after all, which required a deep understanding of language and the ability to use it effectively. Odin was also a god of death, but this was not necessarily a negative thing. In Norse culture, death was seen as a natural part of the cycle of life and was not feared as much as it was in Christianity. Odin's association with death may have come from his willingness to sacrifice himself for knowledge and his ability to travel to the underworld and bring back information. Odin's journeys into the realm of the dead may have also been related to his interest in runes, which were often used to protect against evil spirits and harmful magic. By exploring the mysteries of death and the afterlife, Odin was able to gain more power and influence over the other gods. And so, thanks to Mimir and the Norns, Odin's mastery of memory and fate was complete. If you enjoyed this episode, then you might want to check out our discussion of his wife, Frigg. She's another interesting figure in Norse mythology, and her story is full of surprises. Also, don't forget to leave a like and join as a member if you'd like to help us grow. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay safe and stay nerdy.